Hi everybody, welcome to this week's installment of our YouTube channel. Again, working through the 32 sword form. We're on movement 20, which is kind of a repeat of movement 19 on the other side. We're sweeping the dust into the wind. Last movement 19 was sweep dust into the wind left. This is sweep dust into the wind right. So this will be our line. I'll demonstrate this for you and then we'll talk about the detailed movements in a second. Do it facing the front so you see the demonstration from here. So let's break the movement down so you get the perspective. The movement before is a deflection. It's a 45-degree knife edge slice off to the side, so it's deflecting a strike. This one is the same thing. You're just bringing the sword around and cutting in a different direction. But because we're stepping forward, we started forward with the left, we're coming back, deflecting over and deflecting here. We're going to step forward with the right foot in doing that. So you have a transition. If you just think in terms of the stepping, you're coming from here, stepping forward, and transitioning into another mountain climbing stance. So the transition needs to practice, good practice. You want to don't make sure that you're not stepping over top of each other as part of that. That's pretty much traditional with this movement. Our deflection here is a waist turn. So when we come back through here and step forward the other side, it is also a waist turn. You engage the sword with the waist. You don't swing the arm through there. So make sure that you're turning with the waist as part of that. And again, the same principles apply as applied with the previous movement. It's 45 degrees down, 45 degrees forward with a blade at 45 degrees so that you get the optimal deflection coming off through there. This is a defensive movement to get you in position for another defensive movement to get you in position for an attack. So you'll see that transition as we go through this particular movement. So let's talk about common mistakes. We've mentioned a few of those. It's a lot of the common mistakes with this one because you're coming from the transition here. You're not just turning the sword over to the other side. You want to bring it back around and loop the sword up. So there is a roundness to this movement. So you've got to be comfortable transitioning your sword through there. You're not just bringing it back and putting it back out again. So you want to sweep through the movement here. There's a flow, there's a redirection of the energy involved. So again, a roundness to that particular movement. So coming from here, not bringing the sword back and stepping forward. You're not just from here, turn it over and go here. You're not just stepping forward. You want to transition through, as we mentioned before. Good Taiji stepping here, let the weight flow through the movement. So we're not picking the foot up and setting it down with a really hard stance. These are things we've talked about before, so you kind of get that basic principle of the Tai Chi weight transition with this. So again, that sword transition of the block and the block through here. The other thing is sword secret. When the hand is extended out through here, you are supporting the hand with your wrist or your sword secret onto the wrist, blocking up through there. So make sure that you transition through that cut or that block with this by supporting the hand, so it doesn't leave that hand out there by itself. It's supporting. That keeps the roundness in your arms. It keeps your chest sunk in a little bit so that you complete that circuit and you block appropriately through this particular movement. Other common mistakes really go to basic fundamentals, not being over top of your hips, leaning forward, leaning back, leaning to one side, leaning to the other, and just making sure that you do that stepping in a good sound method for your Tai Chi stepping. So those are the things that we'll see most students making mistakes with. As we've said with this one, the application is, again, pretty much just a deflection through this. What's important with this movement, because you're starting from here and you've deflected down, the strike could be coming in, so you're going to turn up through and deflect through with this. You almost could think of this in terms of a strike. if you could do this correctly, is in that, and look at it from the front here. From the previous movement here, if I step here and I turn the sword over and I catch here to then come up, I could come up and cut. But in this case, we're going to do this as a block. So this movement here, coming back, turning over, stepping forward, and blocking up through here. Again, cover the center line, deflect the strike down away from the body so that you can continue to advance, because we're going to continue to advance in the next movement. So before and after, this is the middle movement on the Sweep the Dust into the Wind series. So again, there's 3 movements. We're going to go left, right, left. This is the right movement. So the prior movement here is the left. So let me move over a little bit to the side here so that you see the full transition. So from here, we're going to come back, transition into this movement, and then transition again into the other movement. So we went left, right, left. That's the 3 move sequence that you're going to do here. And that's 19, 20, and then we'll do 21 here in a sec in our next sequence. Okay? So let's do the follow along with this. So if we're going to transition, we're going to start from here. Make sure the sword handle here is on the center line so you've got the optimal block, and then just begin. Let's do that 5 times to the front so you can get a different perspective. Thanks for watching.